How long should men wait to cry in front of their women?
So the strength of a relationship should happen with intention, right? Not the way that people have been doing it for the last 30, 40, 50 years. I'm speaking about something completely new. When you're dating for intention and purpose, vetting and verifying within 6 months. After that 6 month part, that's when he should know whether or not he wants to marry her or not and be able to transition the relationship where it gets to advance and become more serious. So within a 6 month time frame. So I would say at the 5 to 6 month mark, because by then you should be able to see whether or not this woman is flexible in your sight. Can you lead her? If you make a recommendation around a book, is she quick to read it? Right? Is she accepting your influence? If she's very resistant and rebuttaling, if that's the kind of woman that you want, have at it. Right? That should not be the clue for a man to try harder, in my opinion. And sometimes that's what men think. I like a challenge. Really? You're not looking for a woman to think. You're looking for a woman to flow. So consider that, right? And when I say you're not looking for a woman to think, I don't mean despite her contribution to help you process. What I'm saying is you're not really looking for her to rebuttal. You're looking for a woman to flow. Because that rebuttaling, if it's toxic, it becomes a hindrance and you will be screaming and fighting for space to think. Because men need to process and think in silence. So when a woman starts to talk, her voice begins to sound like the teacher from Charlie Brown. He's not hearing anything. It's just wah, 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 wah. It's high pitched. It is deafening, right? So within that 6 month time frame, a man should be able, with intention, vetting and verifying, is she malleable, flexible in my sight? Is she accepting influence? And as she's malleable, how much of this is genuinely her? Right? Or does it seem like it takes a strong effort?
Yeah.
Right? So once you're able to see that, and the way that you can tell is if she's doing it without you needing to prompt her.
Coaching, yeah.
Correct. So, when, as a coach, my favorite clients are the ones when I give the homework to them and they come the next session with the homework complete. I know that they're accepting my influence. But when I have to remind someone over and over and over again, I need to build rapport. Because there's a glitch in the trust. So we have this belief that a man is supposed to be applying pressure. And again, we need to have these conversations in context. When do you apply pressure? With whom do you apply pressure? Are you applying pressure with a woman who's already chosen you? Or are you applying pressure to a woman who's moving away from you physically, communicatively, right? If you're saying A, she automatically wants to say C, B, Z, right? A woman like that, a cantankerous woman, a difficult woman, is a woman that you reject. You move away from. Why? Because again, you are not marrying a woman for rebuttaling purposes. You're marrying a woman to flow, to preserve, to advance your purpose. So if you are thinking about your purpose, this is why relationships fail. Because when people get into relationships, they're not thinking purpose. They're thinking pleasure. I feel good. The sex is great, right? She looks good. We look attractive together. That's not a reason to get married, right? So if you know what your purpose is, it makes it a lot easier to discern the type of woman that you want. Because in some very rare cases, it will be helpful to have a rebuttal woman because it's if it is in your best interest. Because a yes for you can look like a no sometimes, right? So if you're in a political arena or you are a pastor or you have a public facing profession and you want to go into this bar or something like that that's going to make your reputation look terrible and she rebuttals that, that's in context, that's a healthy woman, you might want to keep her.
Yeah.
Because she's a yes for you, even though she's telling you no. She's still preserving your purpose. That's why you have to have it in context. That's why she's going to test you. And women are feminine energy, right? I'm going to bring it into a little bit of a new age conversation because I want to paint a picture for you guys. I want you to be able to connect. The feminine energy is considered to be a 360-degree round circular experience, which is one of the reasons why women ruminate. When we receive information, we think about it over and over and over again. We don't let it go. Men are linear, simple. There's a beginning and an end, 180 degrees, right? So when a woman has information, if you marry someone who is right, who is argumentative, she's going to ruminate on that argument. It's not going to stop.
Mm.
As a man, what you're going to do, you're linear, 180 degrees. What are you going to do? You're going to compartmentalize the conversation. You're going to shut down because you're not going to address that with her. However, if it's a healthy woman, because I want to be able to, I don't want to just talk about the red flags. I want you guys to understand what the green flags would look like. A woman who ruminates is a woman who's going to have you considering all parties that exist. She wants you to think about the kids, mom, dad, grandpa, the intergenerational makeup of the nucleus of the family, which is missing, by the way, in Black culture, which is why we're at an impasse, right? But she is thinking about that 360-degree experience. What about work? What about your schedule? What about your health, right? What about the kids? What about our parents? If we move too far away? To the unhealthy man, that occurs as nagging, that occurs as arguing. To the healthy man, that occurs as my helpmeet. She's helping me to think about the things that I'm not considering. The man, because he is linear and can compartmentalize, can help her by resolving those challenges, putting an end to it, because that's what you want to do when you compartmentalize. There's a beginning and there's a natural end. This is what we're going to do, full stop.
Solution.
Correct. With the children, this is what we're going to do, full stop. If he's stuck, what do you think? Why would that work? To help her arrive to the conclusion, as opposed to her becoming dependent on his ability to make decisions. Because she should be able to operate without you in the room.
Agreed.
Right? That is a massive mistake, which is why women study a man. I need to study you to know how you think, so I know how to represent you. It's why I have your last name, right? So when my father wants something, I can operate from my father. My father doesn't have to be in the room for me to make decisions for him. Anyone can ask me a question about my father. I can answer for him as if I was his own voice. Because I've studied my father, I've been around him enough to know what are his no's and his yeses. That's where you want to get your woman to be. So that's why you guys are going to have these conversations over and over again, over and over again. I don't just know my father because I'm just built like that. No, he's had several conversations. He has his standards and he doesn't deviate. He's consistent. So it's predictable, right? So if you're a predictable, healthy man and you're with a woman and you're having these conversations, these healthy conversations, she's going to have you consider all parties that exist, and you're going to help her come to the end of each piece. Now you have community. Now you have culture, the culture of your relationship. Decisions are easy because they're connected to purpose. You understand? It's all coming together?
Oh, I understand.
Okay.
I want you to talk to them because I
Okay.
feel that a lot of women don't understand the difference between a man with purpose
Yes.
and a man that is just not doing anything.
It's making you feel good. I
Exactly.
just want to feel good on the inside. It's like, mama, like that passion, that attraction, it dissipates. That's something that has to be renewed, regenerated over and over again. You cannot marry for that and have a long-lasting, healthy relationship. That's not what's going to make a relationship last. You need polarity. We need to be different. We need the yin and the yang. It's not yang, by the way. It's yang. So we need the yin and the yang, right? We need those differences. We need that depth. We need to be able to understand that we each bring something different to the table. Otherwise, we have codependency. Codependency says, I need you to move exactly how I move, think exactly how I think for me to feel okay.
And I think that's the push and pull of men and women. because
Correct.
especially when a man is, again, living in his purpose,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to look like I'm trying to pull you away from what you're trying to do. But really, I'm leading myself to where I'm supposed to be. I'm leading myself to where I'm supposed to be. And I need you to trust me that I trust me and follow me.
And so that's why a man of your caliber 100% must learn how to vet and verify. Vetting is not enough. We need a verification process here, because the verification process is linking what was said and what is done. This is where the accountability part comes in. This is men's biggest frustration with women, the lack of accountability. And we absolutely will scurry around accountability all the time, because when a man expresses his anguish, his upset, his frustration with a woman, oftentimes a woman will see that as an opportunity to steal that from him and say, well, this is why I did it. And it's because I was feeling this way. So now he has to stop expressing himself,
Mm-hmm.
pivot the conversation to cater to her emotions. A man should not allow that.
Now he's tiptoeing around what's really wrong
Correct.
because now he knows the area is no longer safe.
Correct. So he needs to re-engineer that and dominate masculine frame. Baby, I get that you were upset. I understand why you did it, but we're shifting gears here and I want to keep us on track. We can talk about your emotions in a moment, but let's stay focused on this topic right here. I asked you to do X.
Mm-hmm.
You said you would do it. You didn't do it, and you didn't tell me that you didn't get it done. I was counting on you to get this done. It didn't happen, and now that left me vulnerable.
Yes.
Yeah, but I just got caught up. I understand what occurred, but I need you to acknowledge this is what I need going forward. I anticipate that you're human. I know that things happen, life happens. I need you to communicate when something has changed so that I know. Can you provide that for me? He needs to be firm and direct.
And what you just did, that whole tone.
Yes, that tone.
That tone is exactly how it has to go down.
100%.
Because I feel that as men, when we throw the aggression in there, that you guys latch onto that and think, okay, now it's time to fight. When really we're just being very direct and very just, this is what has to do. This is what has to happen to get the outcome that you actually want.
That would be the verification to discern she is not healthy.
And this question is for Rome. Have you ever dealt with a woman who is just hardened inside? Like, it's just, there's nothing soft. Like, we've seen this as kids with some of our aunties are so mean. It's just everything is mean. And you're trying to figure out, like, why are you so hard? And I'm trying to be nice to you. I'm trying to be cool with you. And the more you do, the worse it gets. And I'm feeling like more and more every day is becoming common among women.
Yes.
A lot. And it got me to thinking that if women understood, and men also, some men just are going to start going either out the country or out their race to date. And it's not going to be as competitive because if you go date outside of your race or outside of the country, most of these women are not hardened.
Right.
They're actually more open and receptive. So I just wanted to
we're going to talk about why.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, I would say yes. I want to say most of the women I've met have been hardened in some state, form, or fashion. And the younger I was, or actually when I was younger, I took that as a challenge. And I took that as a challenge because it made me like live more in my ego that I could be the one to crack the code, so to speak. And I didn't have purpose. And I was just doing it for pleasure and just for my own sexual gain, just to be the one that she's going to remember that cracked that code. Now, the older that I've gotten, that is something I just stay away from, honestly, only because I know that a man was behind that pain. Somewhere along the line that a man was behind that pain. And something within that man she'll find in me, whether it's in me or not. And I feel like that trauma is transferable, whether it's mine to hold or not. And so from that point, you're basically in just this never-ending battle, and that woman will never be happy, period.
Correct.
So it's not my duty to take on his shit and then try to give you the best of me. And I feel like that's the cycle that keeps happening with men and women, that someone's giving you the best of themselves and you're not appreciating what's being done because you're still in like fight mode. Your wall is still up. It's still okay. I'm slowly melting, they say, because like I'm an ice cream. Like I'm slowly melting and like he got me to melt. But I feel that the issue is you never came into this relationship just seeing me for me.
It sounds harsh, but when you say it's not my problem to take care of your shit, was what whoever did to you.
Absolutely.
Like, I'm not fixing you.
None of us are fixable. But it's definitely, it's no one's problem. It's no one's duty to take care of the next man's shit or the past man's shit. That's, you have to heal yourself. You have to come to me as some form of healing. You have to, and when we ask for peace, we're really not asking you to like let us cheat on you. We're not asking for that. And I know it sounds like we want you to be, oh, you don't want peace. You just want somebody dumb and stupid to let you get away with your shit. No, what we're really asking for is, hey, I go outside every day and I bust my ass. And not only do I bust my ass, but the men that you're afraid of, the ones that you're asking us to protect you from, we see them. And some of us are afraid of them too, and we don't want to fuck with them. So you don't see that like we are actually protecting you while protecting ourselves, while going to work, while doing the things that you said you wanted, but not understanding that a busy man is not always going to have the time to give you everything.
It's a fact.
Everything. And for us, it feels like you just want to suck our souls dry. And that is fucking draining. And so what happens most of the time is we love you, but she's not going to suck our soul dry the way you're going to suck our soul dry. And we just going to go to the easy option because just speaking for myself, I know how to be a good ass dog. You understand? Like I know how to be a player, and like I can go back to that like instantly. But where I am now, like I know the benefits of my discipline. I know I believe I don't want karma in my 40s. I don't want that at all. I know that we die at a higher rate.
Yep. And
I just don't want that stress. So it's messed up as it sounds, like I don't cheat now because I don't want no shit. Like I want to live long. I want to live healthy. And at some point in time, I got tired of like the hurt that I was giving.
Correct.
And so much has happened to me that I don't know if like my karma from that has ran out. So why don't I just be a good dude right now?
Sure.
And I see the benefits of being a good man, you know? And
I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good job.
I see the benefits of being a good man. And I feel like the things that happen in my life, even currently, are because I decided to make that switch. And I feel like making that switch is really the true test of like being a man, lacking the desire to lie.
Yes.
Because I know I can say some truthful things to women, and I know that it's not gonna get me in your pants.
Right.
But the fact that like you're gonna listen to it, and I can tell by your reaction instantly where we're gonna go from this.
Right.
And I just like being able to do that and move forward.
And you discovered the secret as a man. A secret that a lot of men don't realize is that you have influence. I understand there's the power of the PUSSY. I get it. As a man, men, they see women as so powerful. And it's like, dag, if women only knew how powerful they were, if y'all knew what men would do for it. And as a result, you are polarizing it from the span of you are influential, I am not. And you discover the secret, which is that you do have influence, that how you show up does make an impact. So sometimes when a man grows up in an environment where he is not seen or heard or understood, he thinks that his actions are inconsequential. So it doesn't matter what I do. If I do great, it doesn't really matter. If I do bad, it doesn't really matter. And so he lives a little bit of a sinister life in that he's lying, cheating, stealing in some form or fashion, because he thinks that his actions are going to be inconsequential, and therein lies a surprise. You're hurting people. And then when as a man, you are now at an opportunity of choice on who am I going to be. Once I recognize this fact that I'm hurting people around me that I said that I love, care for, respect, revere, and do I go on doing this or do I stop? So that's why I'm extremely proud of you, because some men don't. Right? Even though they recognize that, instead of them recognizing their influence and their power, they manipulate it, right? And that's why people think some people are narcissistic, but that's really a lot of times just selfishness, that they just continue to do it because they feel like, well, it's not that bad. It's not as bad as they're making it seem. You recognize that it is that bad, and you're committed to not doing that anymore. So that's beautiful.
Thank
beautiful
you.
Work.
That also came with a woman's appreciation, though.
Okay.
Because for me, not appreciating who I could be and appreciating who I am now is just amazing.
Light years away.
Yeah, because
when you say a woman appreciated you, what do you mean by that?
So I feel like I feel like women are always saying men are dogs, men are dogs, men are dogs, men are dogs. And yes, we are. And we know we are. So when I'm being good to you, and you know I'm being good to you, and I know I'm being good to you, that's a whole different power that I feel that I have. And I feel like I don't want a parade. I don't want an award. But anything like you said, you study your man, those little things that you do for me, I'm taking that as appreciation. Totally. And the less that you're nagging about the things that like my mishaps or my shortcomings, the less you are bothered by that, the less you bring them up, I'm taking that as appreciation.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm not a perfect man,
Right.
you know, but if you're constantly telling me what I'm not and what I should be doing, then I'm internalizing that. And I know I don't have the opportunity to say what you should be doing, because
Right.
that changes the whole dynamic of us just as a couple, you know, because now we're just telling each other what we're not.
Right.
And I recognize that. So I don't ever have that opportunity, or I don't ever have that cheat code to be like, oh, yeah, but you ain't doing shit.
Right. And the appreciation piece, I feel like if there's one thing that I wish women would do more of in relationship, is to display a heightened sense of excitement and pleasure and satisfaction when her man does things for her. I think sometimes, unfortunately, women, I've observed it in myself, where we'll receive something. I'm a processor, so I'll have delayed reaction sometimes. So I might receive something and I'll be courteous and say, thank you, I appreciate that. But there isn't a level of heightened excitement and joy. And I wish women brought back that little girl, that sweetness, that tenderness that men are craving. Instead, women are hard and harsh, and what that does is it conveys a bit of entitlement. It's just like, I don't have to do this, right? Like, I know what I could be doing and I don't have to do this. And so, I think a lot of that hardness that men are experiencing and observing in women is coming from the fact that the family structure, and especially in Black community, has dissolved. The nucleus of the family, which used to be intergenerational. We used to have grandma, grandpa, both sides being supportive, aunts and uncles surrounding, the husband and wife, their children, the cousins, right? We used to have community, right? And with that community, we had shared responsibilities, assets, resources. Now we have women who are single mothers at a high margin level, right? Of single mothers who are trying to do it all. She is exhausted.